The panel opened. Words slowly appeared. Poison mushroom. 1 star. Who the hell makes a mushroom? That tastes good and kills you? Reviewer. Dave Kim, deceased. I stared, then laughed. Not because it was funny, because I wasn't sure how else to react. Death Review System. Chapter 1. The worst review ever written. I used to read 1-star reviews when I was bored. Not because I planned on buying anything. Because angry people were funny. 5-star reviews were useless. Great product. Works perfectly. Would buy again. Congratulations. You've successfully described a functioning object. 1-star reviews were where the real stories lived. A toaster burns someone's breakfast? Funny. A chair arrives with 3 legs? Funniest thing I'd read all week. A guy accidentally superglues himself to a folding table? Art. My personal favorite was a camping tent review. 1 star. Waterproof. Unfortunately, the water was on the inside. Reviewer. Steve H. Steve had attached 6 photos. Every single one looked increasingly miserable. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my phone. My coworkers thought something was wrong with me. In hindsight, they might have had a point. I worked in customer support for a software company, which sounds impressive until you realize it mostly involved answering questions people could have solved by reading the giant instructions directly in front of them. Have you tried turning it off and on again? 80% success rate. 90% if the customer wasn't actively fighting the computer. By 6 o'clock I escaped the office. By 7 I was on a crowded train. By 8 I was climbing the stairs to my apartment because the elevator had been broken for 3 weeks. The landlord claimed repairs were coming soon. The elevator strongly disagreed. My apartment wasn't much. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, questionable plumbing, a refrigerator that made sounds suggesting it was haunted. But it was mine. Mostly. Technically the bank owned most of it. I just paid rent. I threw my keys onto the counter. The refrigerator immediately produced a noise that sounded like a dying walrus. Good evening to you too. The refrigerator remained hostile. I made instant noodles. Because cooking required effort. Effort required motivation. Motivation had been laid off months ago. By 9:30, I was sitting near my window with a bowl of noodles and my phone. Outside, rain tapped against the glass. The city glowed beneath the night sky. Traffic crawled through the streets. Apartment lights flickered in distant buildings. Normal. Ordinary. Boring. If someone had told me the world only had a few hours left, I would have laughed. Mostly because the rent payment had cleared that morning. That seemed like something the universe should have warned me about. My phone vibrated. A notification appeared. Trending worldwide. I frowned. Usually that meant celebrities doing something stupid. Or politicians doing something stupider. Instead, the headline read, "Blue lights reported across multiple countries." I opened the article. Photos flooded the screen. America, Japan, France, Brazil, Australia. Every image showed the same thing. Strange blue flashes appearing high in the atmosphere. Scientists were already investigating. Experts were already arguing. The internet was already inventing conspiracy theories. Business as usual. I kept scrolling. The comments were even worse. One guy claimed aliens. Another claimed secret military experiments. A third insisted the moon was finally attacking. That one had surprising support. I shook my head. The world had access to unlimited information, and somehow used it to become dumber every year. Another notification appeared. Then another. Then another. Social media exploded. Videos poured in from around the globe. The blue flashes were increasing. Brighter. Longer. More frequent. For the first time all evening, I felt uneasy. Not scared. Just uneasy. Like standing in a room moments before the power goes out. The city outside seemed to notice too. People stopped. Looked upward. Traffic slowed. Conversations paused. Everyone stared at the sky. Waiting. Watching. The next flash lasted nearly 5 seconds. A bright blue glow illuminated the clouds. Someone shouted from the street below. Another person started recording. My phone buzzed again. This time the screen flickered. Once. Twice. Then stabilized. I frowned. The television across the room flickered too. So did the microwave clock. The refrigerator made an especially offended noise. Okay, that's new. The lights dimmed. For a fraction of a second. Then returned. My uneasiness became concern. Outside, people were gathering in the streets. More phones appeared. More cameras. More questions. Nobody had answers. Then the sky cracked open. Not metaphorically. Not visually. Actually cracked. A glowing blue fracture tore across the heavens from one horizon to the other. My bowl slipped from my hands. Noodles hit the floor. I didn't notice. The city didn't notice. The entire world seemed to freeze. Watching, staring, trying to understand something that made absolutely no sense. The crack widened. Blue-white light poured through it. Car alarms erupted across the city. People screamed. Some ran. Others simply stood there, unable to look away. I pressed myself against the window, my heart hammering, because deep down, I already knew. Whatever happened next, the world was never going back to normal. The fracture spread across the entire sky. Not like lightning, not like a cloud. Like reality itself was tearing apart. A second later, every screen in my apartment lit up. My phone, my television, my laptop, the microwave, even the ancient digital alarm clock beside my bed. Every display turned the same shade of blue. Then words appeared. System initializing. I stared. The words stared back. Outside, thousands of people were seeing the exact same thing. The city had gone silent. Not completely. Sirens still wailed. Car alarms still screamed. But underneath all of it was something else. A feeling. The entire world holding its breath. Then a voice echoed from the sky. Calm. Emotionless. Ancient. Population requirement achieved. The hairs on my neck stood up. Beginning integration. People in the streets began shouting. Nobody understood what was happening. Welcome, challengers. My stomach dropped. Challengers? That didn't sound good. Nothing that called humanity challengers had our best interests in mind. The crack brightened. Blue light flooded my apartment. I threw an arm over my eyes. The world disappeared. When my vision returned, I nearly fell over. My apartment was gone. The city was gone. Everything was gone. I stood inside a massive stone hall. Thousands of people surrounded me. No, not thousands. Tens of thousands. The crowd stretched farther than I could see. Businessmen, students, construction workers, office workers, a guy wearing a shark costume. Everyone looked equally terrified. Where are we? What's happening? Is this real? A child started crying nearby. Several adults looked close to joining him. The ceiling vanished into darkness overhead. Massive stone pillars rose from the floor like ancient monuments. The place looked less like a building and more like a kingdom-sized cathedral. Then a giant countdown appeared in the air. Just under 30 minutes remained. The numbers slowly ticked downward. Nobody knew what would happen when it reached zero. Judging by the panic spreading through the crowd, nobody wanted to find out. Blue windows suddenly appeared before every person. The hall exploded into chaos. What is that? My screen won't go away. Can everyone see this? I looked down. A notification floated before me. Floor 1 preparation period. Please select your starting talent. Around me, people started touching their screens. The reactions were immediate. A man suddenly burst into flames. Several people screamed, then realized he wasn't burning. He looked just as surprised as everyone else. Nearby, a woman floated 3 feet into the air. Someone else created a ball of water. A teenager accidentally summoned a goat. The goat looked deeply unhappy about the situation. Talent names began appearing. Fire manipulation, wind control, enhanced strength, beast taming, lightning spear, shadow assassin. The names sounded ridiculous. The abilities looked very real. I checked my own screen, then checked again, then frowned. I only had one option. Random talent available. That was it. No list. No choices. No rerolls. Just a single button. Seriously? The button blinked. I pressed it. The screen immediately changed. Loading. The little circle spun, and spun, and spun. Around me, people were already testing their powers. Mine was apparently downloading. 5 seconds passed. 10. 15. My concern increased dramatically. Then the screen flashed gold. People nearby gasped. Apparently gold text was rare. That made me feel slightly better. Then I read the talent. Unique talent acquired. Death review system. What? The description appeared. Allows the user to view reviews left behind by deceased individuals. Reviews may contain useful information. Reviews may contain useless information. Reviews may contain emotional damage. I stared. Read it again. Then a third time. Around me, people were receiving fire magic. Lightning. Super strength. Summons. Meanwhile, I had somehow unlocked supernatural customer feedback. I looked toward the ceiling. Can I exchange this? The system ignored me. Rude. The countdown continued falling. Groups immediately began forming. People with combat talents attracted followers. Strong abilities became instant popularity magnets. Meanwhile, I stood alone, because nobody wanted to join the guy whose special power involved reading dead people's opinions. Honestly, fair. Then a notification appeared. First review available. Already? The panel opened. Words slowly appeared. Poison mushroom. 1 star. Who the hell makes a mushroom? That tastes good and kills you? Reviewer. Dave Kim, deceased. I stared, then laughed. Not because it was funny, because I wasn't sure how else to react. A dead guy was angry about a mushroom, and somehow that was now my power. Somewhere in the universe, a cosmic entity was laughing at me. The countdown continued falling. The giant hall trembled. A deep rumble echoed through the stone floor. Everyone immediately fell silent. The voice from earlier returned. Preparation period ending. Thousands of glowing doors appeared throughout the hall. Each one radiated blue light. My stomach tightened. The voice spoke one final sentence. Survive. Every door opened at once, and the screaming began. The glowing doorway grew closer. Closer. Then blue light swallowed everything. I hit the ground hard. Pain shot through my shoulder. Ow. Excellent. The apocalypse was already going well. I pushed myself upright. Rain immediately hit my face. Cold. Heavy. Relentless. A dense forest stretched in every direction. Towering trees blocked most of the sky. The air smelled of wet earth and moss. A notification appeared. Floor 1. Objective, survive 7 days. Population remaining, 10 million. 10 million. The number felt absurd. 10 million people had entered this place. 10 million. Then a scream echoed through the forest. Not far away. A real scream. The kind people make when something terrible is happening. My stomach tightened. A second scream followed. Then a third. Different directions. Different people. The tutorial had officially begun. I immediately checked my surroundings. No shelter. No weapons. No food. No water. Wonderful. The system apparently believed in character building. A faint glow appeared beside me. I looked down. A rusty knife lay on the ground. Starter equipment. The blade looked like it had lost a fight against rust. Several times. Still, better than my fists. I picked it up. The moment I did, another review panel appeared. Rusty starter knife. 1 star. Bent during my first fight. The goblin found this hilarious. Reviewer. Mark Chun, deceased. I stared, then looked at the knife. Then back at the review. Good to know. My expectations somehow dropped lower. A rustling sound came from nearby bushes. I froze. The bushes moved again. Slowly. Deliberately. Something was watching me. The forest suddenly felt much quieter. Another rustle. Closer. My grip tightened around the knife. The bushes parted. A creature stepped out. Green skin. Yellow eyes. Sharp teeth. About 4 feet tall. It carried a crude knife made from sharpened metal scraps. The thing grinned. I immediately hated it. Goblin. Of course it was a goblin. Years of games and fantasy novels had prepared me for this exact moment. Unfortunately, none of those experiences included actual survival. The goblin crouched, ready to attack. A review panel appeared beside it. Goblin Raider. 2 stars. The left knee is weak. Unfortunately, his cousin's wasn't. Reviewer. Kevin Ross, deceased. I blinked. The goblin blinked. We stared at each other. Then the goblin charged. Fast. Much faster than I expected. I barely dodged. Its knife sliced through empty air where my face had been. The goblin crashed into a tree. I crashed into a different tree. Neither of us looked particularly impressive. The goblin recovered first. Naturally, monsters probably weren't busy having nervous breakdowns. The creature hissed and charged again. My heart hammered. Left knee. The review had mentioned its left knee. Kevin Ross was dead. That wasn't exactly reassuring. But dead Kevin probably knew more about goblins than living Ethan. The goblin lunged. I sidestepped. Barely. Its blade missed my stomach by inches. I stabbed downward. The rusty knife struck its left knee. The goblin screamed. Its leg buckled instantly. The review was right. Oh, thank God. The goblin looked offended. Apparently, it disliked being fact-checked. It swung wildly. I stumbled backward. The knife barely missed my throat. The goblin's injured leg slowed it. Not much, but enough. Enough to matter. I circled. The goblin limped. Rain poured around us. Mud splashed beneath our feet. The fight looked less like a battle and more like 2 idiots trying to trip each other. Then the goblin slipped. Actually slipped. Its injured leg gave out. The creature crashed face first into the mud. I didn't hesitate. I stabbed. Once. Twice. 3 times. The goblin shrieked. Then dissolved into blue particles. Silence returned. A notification appeared. Goblin Raider defeated. Experience gained. Level increased. I stood there, breathing heavily, covered in mud, covered in rain, covered in what I sincerely hoped wasn't goblin blood. Then I laughed, a slightly hysterical laugh, because somehow, against all logic, I had survived. My first monster, my first fight, my first proof that the world had completely lost its mind. A small blue glow appeared where the goblin had died. Loot. I approached cautiously. The light condensed into a crude dagger. The system identified it immediately. Goblin dagger. Common quality. Condition. Poor. A review appeared. Goblin dagger. 1 star. Broke during my first fight. The second goblin was very encouraging about it. Reviewer. Mark Chun deceased. I sighed. Mark, you're not helping. The review vanished. Then a distant howl echoed through the forest. Long. Low. Hungry. My smile disappeared. Because something told me. The goblin had only been the tutorial. And tutorials rarely contain the worst things waiting ahead. The howl echoed again. Closer this time. I immediately stopped appreciating nature. Rain continued falling through the trees. The forest seemed darker now. More hostile. Like killing the goblin had somehow informed the entire ecosystem that I existed. A notification appeared. Level 2 reached. Stat points available, 3. Finally. Something useful. I opened my status screen. Ethan Cole. Level 2. Health, 100. Stamina, 100. Strength, 5. Agility, 5. Endurance, 5. Perception, 8. Unassigned points, 3. Talent. Death review system. Perception was already higher than everything else. Interesting. Maybe the system considered my talent perception-based. Or maybe I was naturally talented at noticing terrible decisions. Both seemed possible. A review panel appeared. Leveling up. 2 stars. Put everything into strength. Still got eaten. Reviewer. Brian Cole deceased. I nodded. Fair point, Brian. Balanced build it was. 1 point into strength. 1 point into agility. 1 point into endurance. Nothing fancy. Nothing stupid. Hopefully. The forest suddenly rustled nearby. I froze. Then slowly crouched. Something was moving through the undergrowth. Heavy footsteps. Much heavier than a goblin. The sound passed nearby, then continued deeper into the forest. I released a breath. No reason to investigate. None whatsoever. Every horror movie ever created agreed with me. I started walking in the opposite direction. 5 minutes later, I found a dirt path. 10 minutes later, I found a body. I stopped immediately. A man lay against a tree. Dead. His chest had been torn open. His eyes stared blankly upward. Rain washed blood into the mud around him. I swallowed. This wasn't a movie. This wasn't a game. This was real. Someone had died here. Recently. A review panel appeared. Bloodfawn Wolf. 1 star. Thought climbing a tree was smart. Turns out wolves can wait longer than I can. Reviewer. Andrew Miller, deceased. I looked up. The dead man was beneath a large tree. My stomach sank. The review wasn't from him. It was about whatever had killed him. Which meant Bloodfawn Wolf. Somewhere nearby. The howl echoed again. Much closer. Oh. I immediately resumed walking. Very quickly. The path curved through the forest. More screams echoed in the distance. Occasional flashes of light appeared between the trees. People fighting. People dying. The apocalypse seemed busy. Then voices reached me. Human voices. I froze. Carefully moving closer. 3 people stood in a small clearing. A woman holding a spear. A tall guy carrying a wooden club. And a man with glasses gripping a kitchen knife. All 3 looked exhausted. All 3 looked terrified. Most importantly, all 3 looked human. The guy with glasses noticed me first. His knife immediately came up. Stop. Reasonable reaction. I raised both hands. Trust me, if I was a monster, I'd have picked something cooler. The woman snorted. The tension eased slightly. The tall guy lowered his club. A little. Not completely. Smart man. Nobody trusted strangers anymore. Especially not here. After a minute of awkward introductions, names were exchanged. Mia, Derek, Jason, and me. Nobody had impressive backstories. Nobody was secretly special. Just 4 random people trying not to die. which honestly felt refreshing. Then a howl echoed. Close. Very close. Everyone immediately stopped talking. Jason looked nervous. Please tell me that's far away. The howl came again. Even closer. Derek sighed. So that's a no. The bushes exploded. A massive gray wolf burst into the clearing. Then another. Then another. 3 wolves. Each nearly the size of a horse. Their eyes glowed red. Their teeth looked capable of violating several workplace safety regulations. A review panel appeared instantly. Bloodfawn wolf. 2 stars. If one starts circling, its friends already are. Reviewer. Andrew Miller, deceased. I looked around. The wolves were spreading out. Exactly like the review said. 1 in front. 2 moving around the sides. Trying to surround us. My stomach dropped. Because Andrew Miller wasn't warning us. He was describing how he died. The wolves growled. The circle tightened. Rain poured around us. For survivors. 3 wolves. No safe way out. Then Jason quietly spoke. I miss spreadsheets. Nobody disagreed. The lead wolf lowered its body. Preparing to pounce. The wolf attacked. A gray blur exploded across the clearing. Mia reacted first. Her spear shot forward. The wolf twisted midair. The spear missed by inches. The wolf landed and immediately sprang backward. Testing us. Smart. I didn't like smart monsters. Stupid monsters died. Smart monsters wrote reviews. The other 2 wolves continued circling. Exactly as Andrew Miller had warned. Jason swallowed. Tell me your talent does something useful. It gives me reviews. Can the reviews fight? No. Then I hate your talent. Fair. The lead wolf lunged again. This time Derek stepped forward. His wooden club smashed into the wolf's shoulder. The impact actually staggered it. Good news. Bad news. The other 2 wolves immediately attacked. Apparently, they believed in teamwork. One rushed Jason. The other came straight for me. Oh, come on. I barely dodged. Teeth snapped inches from my face. The wolf crashed past me. Turned. Charged again. A review panel appeared. Bloodfawn wolf. 1 star. They're fast. I know that's obvious. I just wanted future victims to suffer too. Reviewer. Andrew Miller, deceased. Very helpful, Andrew. The wolf lunged. I threw myself aside. Mud exploded beneath its paws. The thing was ridiculously fast. Way faster than the goblin. Jason yelped. I turned. His kitchen knife had become lodged in a tree. Unfortunately, the wolf was not. The creature was still very much mobile. Mia rushed to help. Her spear forced the wolf back. For a moment. Then all 3 wolves regrouped. The pack leader growled. The others immediately responded. My stomach sank. Communication. Wonderful. The monsters had tactics. The wolves spread out again. Wider this time. Creating distance. Watching. Waiting. A review appeared. Bloodfawn wolf. 2 stars. The alpha always attacks second. I learned that right before becoming educational material. Reviewer. Samuel Price, deceased. My eyes locked onto the largest wolf. The one hanging back. The alpha. It wasn't attacking. It was observing. Directing. Commanding. Like a battlefield officer. Big one. I pointed. The big one is in charge. Mia immediately understood. We kill it first. The alpha's ears twitched. Almost like it knew we were discussing murder. Then the smaller wolves attacked simultaneously. The clearing erupted into chaos. One hit Derek. Hard. He crashed into the mud. The second rarely reached Jason. Mia intercepted. I charged the alpha. Which sounds brave. It wasn't. It was panic with momentum. The alpha seemed surprised. Apparently most prey didn't volunteer. Its confusion lasted half a second. Then it lunged. I stabbed. The goblin dagger struck its shoulder. The blade barely penetrated. The alpha looked offended. I looked concerned. Then the dagger snapped. Clean in half. A review appeared immediately. Goblin dagger. 1 star. Broke during my first fight. The second goblin was very encouraging about it. Reviewer. Mark Chun, deceased. Mark. The wolf tackled. Me. I hit the ground hard. Teeth snapped inches from my throat. Its weight crushed my chest. I punched it. The wolf remained unconvinced. This was probably how people became deceased. Then a spear punched through the wolf's side. The alpha screamed. Mia had arrived. The wolf leaped away. Blue blood dripped from its wound. Good. It could bleed. That meant it could die. Hopefully before we did. The alpha backed away. Its eyes narrowed. Then another review appeared. Bloodfawn wolf alpha. 1 star. Thought the scar over its right eye looked cool. Got eaten while staring at it. Reviewer. Kevin Ross, deceased. I froze. Kevin Ross. The goblin guy. Interesting. Also, right eye? Scar. I looked closer. There. A pale scar crossing the alpha's right eye. The eye itself looked damaged. Cloudy. Partially blind. A weakness. Not a huge one. But enough. Enough to matter. Right eye. I shouted. The scarred eye. Mia immediately adjusted her grip. The alpha charged. She thrust. The spear flashed forward. The wolf twisted. But not quite enough. The spear drove directly into the damaged eye. The alpha screamed. The entire forest seemed to shake. The other wolves froze. For one glorious second, the pack lost coordination. And suddenly the fight started turning in our favor. Mia didn't hesitate. She twisted the spear. The alpha thrashed violently. Blue blood sprayed across the mud. The wolf ripped itself free and stumbled backward. One eye ruined. The other burning with hatred. Jason pointed. Can wolves look offended? That one can. The alpha growled. The two remaining wolves immediately repositioned around it, protecting their leader. Interesting. Very interesting. A review panel appeared. Bloodfang Wolf Alpha. 2 stars. The pack listens to him. Unfortunately, they stop listening when he starts dying. Reviewer. Kevin Ross, deceased. I blinked, then grinned. Kevin, you're my favorite dead person. The alpha charged. Not at Mia. At me. Apparently, the feeling wasn't mutual. I ran. Immediately. Heroic tactical repositioning. Definitely not panic fleeing. The alpha barreled after me. Half blind. Wounded. Still terrifying. Its remaining, I tracked my movements. The damaged side lagged behind. A weakness. A real weakness. The wolf lunged. I dodged left. The alpha overshot slightly. Not much. Just enough. Jason saw it too. He snatched a fallen branch from the ground, then swung it like a baseball bat. The branch shattered. The alpha's nose made a very unpleasant crunching sound. The wolf recoiled. Jason stared at the broken stick. I helped. You absolutely did. His confidence tripled instantly. A dangerous development. Meanwhile, Derek was fighting one of the smaller wolves. Poorly. The wolf wasn't winning. Derek wasn't winning. Both seemed committed to making bad decisions. The second wolf attacked Mia. She blocked with the spear shaft. The impact nearly knocked her off her feet. The alpha recovered. Its breathing sounded rough now. Good. Very good. Another review appeared. Bloodfang Wolf Alpha. 1 star. When it starts breathing like a broken vacuum cleaner, you're finally making progress. Reviewer. Rachel Moore, deceased. The alpha immediately inhaled, then produced a horrible wheezing growl. I almost laughed. The review was right. The monster sounded ridiculous. Still deadly, but ridiculous. The best combination. Keep hitting it. I shouted. Excellent strategy. Jason yelled back. Do you have a better one? No. The alpha charged again. This time Mia sidestepped. The spear flashed. A deep cut opened across its flank. The wolf staggered. Derek finally landed a solid hit on the smaller wolf. The club connected with its ribs. The crack echoed through the clearing. The wolf yelped, then immediately bit Derek's arm. Ow. The fight remained impressively unprofessional. The alpha was weakening. Slowly. Painfully. But weakening. Then the review system flashed again. A new panel appeared. Bloodfang Wolf Alpha. 1 star. Killed the alpha. Celebrated early. There was a beta. Reviewer. Trevor Lang, deceased. Everyone froze. Even me. What? The alpha froze too. Probably confused. The hell is a beta? Jason asked. The answer arrived immediately. A second howl echoed through the forest. Much deeper. Much louder. Every wolf in the clearing reacted instantly. The alpha lifted its head. The smaller wolves backed away. Fear appeared in their eyes. Actual fear. Then something huge stepped between the trees. My stomach dropped. The newcomer was even larger than the alpha. Dark fur. Massive shoulders. A scarred muzzle. Its yellow eyes swept across the clearing. A system window appeared. Bloodfang Beta. Level 6. Silence. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Jason slowly looked at me. Your dead people suck. Trevor warned us. Trevor waited until now. Fair criticism. The beta took 1 step forward. The alpha lowered its head. Not in challenge. In submission. The entire pack submitted. I stared. Oh, that's bad. The beta wasn't second in command. The alpha had been. This thing was the real leader. The review had been technically correct. Which was the worst kind of correct? A new review appeared. Bloodfong Beta. 1 star. Found out it wasn't the alpha. It found out I wasn't the main character. Reviewer. Trevor Lang, deceased. The giant wolf growled. The sound vibrated through the clearing. Then it looked directly at me. Specifically at me. I pointed at my chest. Why me? The beta lowered its body, preparing to pounce. Then a horn echoed through the forest. Long, deep, ancient. Every wolf froze. The beta froze. Even the rain seemed to pause. A system notification appeared before every survivor. Regional event detected. The hunt begins. The giant wolf immediately turned toward the distant sound. Its ears flattened. For the first time, the monster looked nervous. And anything capable of scaring a level 6 wolf was not something I wanted to meet. Not even a little. Another notification appeared. All creatures within the region have been marked. Hunters will soon arrive. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. Hunters. Plural. That word carried entirely too much confidence. The Bloodfong Beta slowly backed away. Not from us. From whatever had triggered the event. The smaller wolves followed immediately. Even the injured alpha limped after them. Within seconds, the entire pack disappeared into the darkness. Nobody moved. Nobody celebrated. Because if monsters were running away, something worse was coming. Jason finally broke the silence. I don't suppose your dead reviewers know what's happening. A golden review appeared. My stomach immediately dropped. Golden reviews were never good news. The hunt. 1 star. I spent 20 minutes hiding. Turns out they were hunting everything. Reviewer. Unknown, deceased. That's not helpful. The review vanished. A second golden review appeared. The hunt. 1 star. Thought the wolves would slow them down. The wolves agreed with me. For about 6 seconds. Reviewer. Unknown, deceased. Nobody liked that. Not one bit. Then the forest shook. Something enormous crashed through the trees far away. A scream followed. Then another. Then silence. The 4 of us exchanged looks. Mia tightened her grip on her spear. Derek adjusted his club. Jason looked like he wanted a refund from reality. Honestly, same. The system chimed again. Objective updated. Survive the hunt. No instructions? Jason asked. No instructions. No timer. No timer. Wonderful. A distant explosion lit the sky blue. For a brief second, the entire forest illuminated. And I saw it. A silhouette. Tall. Far taller than any human. Moving between the trees. My blood turned to ice. Then the light vanished, leaving only darkness and imagination, which was somehow worse. A review appeared. Unknown hunter. 1 star. If you can clearly see it, it's already too close. Reviewer. Linda Graves, deceased. I immediately stopped wanting to see it. The 4 of us began moving. Fast. Not running. Running attracted attention. At least that was the theory. The theory lasted approximately 3 minutes. Then we found a body. Fresh. Very fresh. A survivor lay crumpled beside the path. No blood. No visible wounds. Just dead. His eyes remained wide open. Frozen in terror. A review panel appeared above the corpse. Not above the path. Not above the forest. Above the body. I stopped. That had never happened before. Human survivor. 1 star. Tried to outrun it. I was faster than my friend. Reviewer. Ryan Cole, deceased. Silence. Jason stared. Mia stared. Derek stared. I stared. The review slowly faded. Then another one appeared. Again above the corpse. Human survivor. 1 star. Should have felt guilty. Didn't have enough time. Reviewer. Ryan Cole, deceased. My heart skipped a beat. That was new. Very new. The system had never shown multiple reviews from the same person. Then I realized something. These weren't reviews of a monster. These were reviews attached to Ryan himself. Fragments. Final thoughts. The last things he'd regretted. The panel flickered, then disappeared forever. A notification appeared. Death review system updated. New function unlocked. Final reviews. I froze. My talent had evolved. Or expanded. Or become significantly creepier. Jason noticed my expression. What? I swallowed. My talent just got worse. Again. Again. The forest shook. A distant roar echoed through the darkness. Much closer this time. Then another. Then another. Something was moving through the region. Something large. Something hunting. The 4 of us resumed walking. Faster now. The rain had finally stopped. Unfortunately, that only made it easier to hear things. Branches snapping. Leaves rustling. Distant screams. The forest sounded alive. Hungry. Then a light appeared ahead. Orange. Warm. Human. A campfire. We immediately slowed. Carefully approaching. There were people there. 7 survivors. Armed. Tired. Alive. Relief flooded through me. Then a review panel appeared. Golden. My relief evaporated instantly. Strangers around a campfire. 1 star. The monsters outside were easier to predict. Reviewer. Unknown deceased. I stopped walking. The others nearly walked into me. What? Mia whispered. I stared at the camp. At the survivors. At the fire. At the smiling man waving us over. And for the second time tonight, I had a very bad feeling about other humans. The smiling man waved us over. Hey. His voice carried through the trees. Over here. The campfire crackled warmly. 7 survivors sat around it. Weapons rested nearby. Food cooked over the flames. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I hated that immediately. The golden review still floated before me. Strangers around a campfire. 1 star. The monsters outside were easier to predict. Reviewer. Unknown deceased. The review faded, leaving me with absolutely no useful details. Just anxiety. Wonderful. The others looked at me. I looked at them. Jason already knew what that expression meant. Bad review. Golden review. His face fell. That's worse. Much worse. The smiling man stood up. He looked to be in his 30s. Friendly face. Friendly smile. Friendly posture. The kind of person who could probably sell life insurance during a zombie apocalypse. Everything all right? Nobody answered immediately. The man laughed. Tough night. Understatement of the century, Jason said. That earned a few chuckles from the camp. The tension eased slightly. Slightly. I continued scanning the survivors. 1 older woman. 2 teenagers. 3 men. 1 woman with a bow. Everyone looked exhausted. Everyone looked human. No obvious problems. Which was exactly the problem. The review system wasn't warning me about monsters. It was warning me about people. The smiling man gestured toward the fire. Come sit. Mia stepped forward. I grabbed her arm. She looked at me. What? I lowered my voice. Something feels wrong. Jason immediately nodded. Derek frowned. Mia glanced at the camp. They look normal. Every serial killer in history looked normal. That's not helping. Fair. The smiling man noticed our hesitation. His smile dimmed slightly. Look. He raised both hands. No tricks. A review appeared. Friendly stranger. 1 star. The smile wasn't fake. Everything else was. Reviewer. Unknown deceased. My stomach dropped. There it was. Confirmation. Not enough confirmation. But enough. The review vanished. I made a decision. Possibly a terrible one. But hopefully less terrible than trusting strangers. We'll keep moving. The campfire group became quiet. The smiling man blinked. At night. Yeah. You won't survive. Maybe. But apparently staying might be worse. The man's smile disappeared entirely. And that scared me far more than the smile had. The transformation happened instantly. Like a mask falling away. The friendliness vanished. Something cold remained. Something calculating. A review appeared. Friendly stranger. 1 star. The act ended when we stopped being useful. Reviewer. Unknown deceased. Run. The word left my mouth before I consciously decided to say it. Mia didn't ask questions. Jason didn't argue. Derek didn't hesitate. We turned and ran. Immediately. Behind us the camp erupted. Get them. The shouting confirmed everything. Branches snapped. Footsteps thundered behind us. Jason looked horrified. Why are people chasing us? No idea. That was technically a lie. I had several ideas. None were encouraging. The forest blurred around us. The sounds of pursuit grew louder. The survivors were gaining. That shouldn't have been possible. Then I remembered. Levels. Skills. Stats. Some of them were stronger than us. Much stronger. An arrow slammed into a tree beside Mia's head. Everyone ran faster. Another review appeared. Trusting strangers. 1 star. Turns out share your supplies. Meant all of them. Reviewer. Natalie Brooks, deceased. A dark thought occurred to me. What if the monsters weren't the reason the camp existed? What if the camp was bait? My stomach churned. The smiling man shouted from behind us. Stop running. Jason immediately yelled back. No. Reasonable response. A second arrow flew overhead. Much less reasonable. The forest suddenly opened into a rocky clearing. Moonlight spilled across broken stone. For one brief moment, I thought we might escape. Then the ground trembled. Everyone froze. The pursuing survivors froze. The forest became silent. Completely silent. Even the insects stopped. Then a review appeared. Golden. Running from humans. 2 stars. The humans stopped chasing me. The reason was significantly worse. Reviewer. Unknown, deceased. Nobody liked that. Not one person. A massive shadow moved across the clearing. The moon disappeared. Something enormous stepped between the trees. 20 feet tall. Maybe more. Long arms. Gray skin. Antlers made from black bone. Its eyes glowed pale blue. The creature looked less like an animal and more like a nightmare somebody had accidentally made real. A system window appeared. Gravehorn Hunter. Level 12. Silence. Pure silence. Then Jason quietly spoke. I miss the wolves. Nobody disagreed. The monster slowly turned its head. Looking at us. Looking at the armed survivors behind us. Looking at everyone. The hunter didn't care who we were. To it. We were all prey. A review appeared. Gravehorn Hunter. 1 star. It wasn't hunting people. It was hunting movement. Unfortunately, I was participating. Reviewer. Harold Finch, deceased. The monster took 1 step forward. The ground cracked beneath its foot. And suddenly, every human in the clearing realized the same thing. The hunt had finally arrived.